welcome back. My name's Diana. This is my channel Bookshtai, and today I'm starting a reading vlog for books recommended to me by friends. So this is actually going to be a multi-part vlog. So at the end of 2022, I had seen one of those read 12 books recommended to you by 12 different people challenge, and I decided, you know what, I kind of want to do that. I want to read stuff that I might not normally pick up. I want to see what my friends are going to recommend to me. And in one instance, a family member would recommend to me, and maybe I'll find something new that I might not have enjoyed otherwise, or maybe, again, in the case of this family member, I'll get confirmation that this particular author, this particular work is just not for me. So the way this is going to go, I have written down all 12 books on pieces of paper, and they're in this jar. I'm going to select 3 of them, and those 3 will be this reading vlog. I'm going to do it throughout the year, so kind of have it be something I do every 3rd month, and we will see what happens. I'm not sharing with you the full list of books right now because I kind of want it to be a surprise for you to see what people have recommended to me. So let's see what my 3 books for March are going to be. All right. I knew this was going to happen. The first book is ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas, recommended to me by my sister. So I knew this was going to happen the moment I asked Joe to give me a recommendation. We share an Overdrive account, so I can always see when she's going through one of her Sarah J. Maas phases, and she describes it, as brain candy. It's something that she likes to listen to while she's working because she doesn't have to think much about it. And I have never read a Sarah J. Maas, and I've honestly been avoiding it because it just seemed like something that would not be for me, and I'm trying to preserve my peace, preserve my happiness, and so I've just never done it. So and also my sister's a Scorpio, so this is a very Scorpio thing to do. So anyway, guess I'm finally gonna do it. I actually do have the book on hold because I had a suspicion that this was gonna happen. So Joe, I hope you're happy. I hope you're gonna enjoy seeing me suffer if you ever watch this video. All right, what is book number 2? Please be something good. Okay. So book 2 is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This was recommended to me by my friend Rachel, my IRL friend Rachel, not Rachel Culinati. So she really likes Erin Morgenstern's work. She really likes The Night Circus, likes The Starless Sea. So I actually do have an ebook copy of this already, so I'll just pick that up. So maybe I'll save this for after ACOTAR. We'll see. But I am looking forward to finally reading this. I've heard good things about it. I've been meaning to pick up Erin Morgenstern for a while, so this will be a good incentive to do so. All right. Book 3. I think ACOTAR was the only book that I was super dreading on this list, so I'm hoping now that that's out of the way, I will have a good one. Okay. So book 3 for this project is going to be, and I don't think you guys can focus, but it is Snow Spelled by Stephanie Burgess, recommended to me by my friend Forest of Glory. So this is, I think, the first in a series of self-published novellas that Stephanie Burgess has done. Again, I have another ebook copy of this, so I don't have to buy anything, which is good, because I also refuse to buy ACOTAR. Anyway, so I think this will be a good range. I have one that I am dreading, but I have 2 others that I've actually been on the fence. I've been considering reading for a while, so I think I'm gonna just do ACOTAR first and just get it out of the way so I don't have to think about it after this, so it's not hanging over me like some sort of Damocles. So this should be fun. This should be interesting, and hopefully I don't end up wanting to gouge my eyes out over Fairy Dick. Hello, welcome back. It is now the end of March, and have I done anything for this project? No, I haven't, because my hold for A Court of Thorns and Roses took forever, and it finally came, But I decided just to push the reading the 3 books until April. So because of that, because we'll now be a third of the way by the time I finish the project, or finish like this iteration, we'll be a third of the way through the year. I am just going to pull a 4th book from here and we will see what it is. So, and just a reminder that the first 3 books that I pulled are Snowspell by Stephanie Burgess, recommended by my friend Force of Glory, and we are about to be interrupted, I think. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, and ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. So, are you gonna come up a little? There she is. All right, we briefly pause drawing the book to bring you an important announcement. She is very cute. Okay, anyway, the 4th book I will be reading for this iteration of the project is Georgie All Along by Kate Clyburn. So this was recommended to me by my friend Kay at Kay Taylor Ray. So yeah, so I will add that to my TBR. I do actually have a hold of it at the LA Public Library. So I am going to make sure I can get that book. Anyway, so looking forward to it. They're all like 3 very different, well, they're all, I don't know about the Starless Sea, but I know 3 of them are 3 of them are romance heavy, although ACOTAR, Anyway, so I will get started on these come April, and you will probably see me be drunk vlogging ACOTAR because I am purposely putting that first. All right, it is Sunday, April 2nd, and I finally started this, and it's been a chore. I've been trying to get through it, and I only just got to chapter 5, and it feels like I've been reading it forever. So I have some problems with it. The 2 main ones. One, the writing is atrocious. Sarah J. Maas, like, I knew going in that she loved an M dash, but I was not prepared for how much she loved an M dash. And the way that she breaks up the sentences, not just with M dashes, but with like ellipses and semicolons, it's very choppy, and it's done in a way where it's like supposed to feel like very deep and meaningful, but it's not. And my other problem is the characters. So, like, I know other folks have talked about this. I'm a patron. I follow My Name is Monty Ness on Patreon, and she's been going through this book chapter by chapter, so I have an idea of what to expect. But anyway, like, Feyre is really annoying in the fact that this point, like, the only defining characteristics that I have of her is that she doesn't like her family. She's really ableist towards her dad. She resents that she has to take care of her sisters. Her sisters don't do anything. And the only thing she really likes is painting, but she's not a very good character to follow. And I don't know, it's annoying. And then I ended up reading the first chapter of Rose Daughter because I'm like, ugh, I might as well just like maybe read something like a good Beauty and the Beast retelling. And what we get in that first chapter of Rose Daughter is so stark compared to what we get in A Court of Thorns and Roses, because what we get early on in Rose Daughter is our main character, Beauty. We get the setting of, what she grew up with. We get the memories of her mother and how she always associates her mother with the smell of roses. We find out about Beauty and her sisters and how even though they're very different, there is some sort of affection there. And we also see the part where their father loses his fortune and how the sisters step up and what they do afterwards. And the amount of information we get about the world, about Beauty and her sisters, is just a lot more and it's much more well done than what we've gotten so far with A Court of Thorns and Roses in I would say about the same amount of time. So I'm struggling through this. I'll probably do another update later tonight when I've hopefully read more, because I am trying to get this one out of the way so I can read things that I enjoy. But yeah, Joe, what the fuck are you reading? And why are you making me read it? Say hi, Leia. She's annoyed with me. Anyway, so I am now maybe a quarter of the way through ACOTAR. I am a little over 100 pages and I'm still not enjoying it. So I have some like very specific complaints. One, comparing this to Rose Daughter, which I think is a little unfair, but like, oops, it is Rose Daughter is just, I think, a better Beauty and the Beast retelling. From what I remember, and also from what I'm reading it, I'm 2 chapters into Rose Daughter. Anyway, so the complaint I have as a comparison to Rose Daughter is the way ACOTAR starts. We're just kind of thrust into Feyre hunting and to her and her family being on Dissolute Times. We don't actually see the like what their life was like before, and like we don't really get enough time with like even before, like not just before, you know, the merchant lost his fortune, but we don't get enough time to see what Feyre's life is like before it changes. So we don't really have a lot to establish what changes are going to be happening as the result of her going with the Beast. Whereas Rose Daughter, the first chapter was them setting the scene, talking about the mother who since died, establishing some of the characters, and then traveling to the cottage where they're living now that the father's lost his fortune. All right, let's see if I can, there we go, much better. And chapter 2 is them starting to get settled. And so we don't have any of that. Like there's nothing really giving us a sense of home or a sense of like what's being disrupted, which I think is important with the with something like Beauty and the Beast. You have to have the establishment before the disruption. So there's that. So that's my main complaint. As like, I apologize if you're watching this and this is shaking. My complaint about ACOTAR as its own thing, besides the fact that Sarah J. Maas's crimes against punctuation are too numerous to mention, I'm very confused about the world building. So part of it is the way, because we only see like what's essentially Great Britain and Ireland, and humans are on such a such a small area, and they're like, we are told there's other lands because they're told they get spices and gold, but like it just seems so contained. And then I guess, you know, why are the fairy only there and not elsewhere? And then, so that's like just kind of me grousing in general, but like specifically, I'm very confused about the treaty and what exactly it's supposed to do, and why it means that even though Feyre has committed a murder, she's allowed to live there scot-free. And I think the other thing that's confusing, again, the fact that she did a murder and isn't really facing consequences for it. Like, Tamlin and Lucian just seem like, oh yeah, you committed murder, you murdered our friends, but the treaty, but we'll make it comfortable. So yeah, I'm just very confused by that. Like, I think they could have easily had it been, or like Sarah J. Maas easily could have have it been where it wasn't like murdering a fae, it was like murdering a sacred creature or something, where like you would still have the punishment, because like that's what I initially thought it was when it's like, oh, Feyre killed a wolf, and I'm like, okay, she killed like a fae wolf, but then it turns out she actually killed a fae. So I'm super confused about the world building. The punctuation's atrocious. The characters just feel very flat. I don't have a good sense of any of the characters. I'm going to be done for the night. I need to eat dinner. I need to put my bread in the oven. And I really don't feel like tormenting myself with this anymore. I'm probably not going to do another update until I'm about halfway through, or I DNF. So at least I made some progress. Yay. All right. I have an update. It's Tuesday. You're looking at the cats instead of me because my cats are very cute. Isn't that right, Luke? You're so cute. You're so cute too, Leia. Also, I don't want to show my face right now. So I am about a third of the way through ACOTAR right now. And it's so bad. It's so bad. I'm so mad at my sister. So basically what's frustrating right now is the fact that she's just stripped away so many things that make the Fae. So the whole, oh, we can't tell a lie. I mean, that's not consistent across a lot of fairy tale, like, folklore around the Fae. Like, there are some Fae who can lie and some who can't. But, like, just be like, oh, no, we totes lied to, like, screw with your ancestors. Oh, no, we're not really allergic to iron. Even if that's part of, like, the most foundational part, like, one of the most foundational things with the Fae is that they're allergic to iron. So it's just basically she's stripping away everything that makes the Fae except for making them, like, hot dudes with pointed ears and wings. So that's my update. Her grammar's still atrocious. I finally got my first mention of a mating bond, so I fully expect that to be popping up more and more. I'm stopping for tonight because I can't deal with that. In non-ACOTAR news, I did start The Last Fleet by J.S. Dews as well. I'm listening to that on audiobook. And I did not expect this book to start with a strip search, a cavity search. So heads up for that if you ever read it. I'm not super far in. I'm about 10%, but I'm very interested. Like, I don't really like the male dude. He's very much like your genius Playboy screw up, except like he's in this he landed on the ship because he, I guess, destroyed something of his grandfather's. And there's like time distortion near the edge of the universe, but oh my god, the edge of the universe is collapsing. So yeah, I just got to what seems to be giving you what the main conflict is going to be. So I'm very interested. I like the audiobook narrators. And since the Disney Dreamlight Valley update drops tomorrow and I'm going to be playing that, I will be continuing on with that. Oh, hi, buddy. Hi. Say hi to the nice people. So yeah, that is my update. I hope you enjoyed seeing Luke and Leia and also my TBR stacks of shame. Anyway, I probably won't update until I'm either done with ACOTAR or a DNF it, but I'm not gonna let my sister win by DNFing. Anyway, update soon. Bye. Hey everyone, just another update. So it is now Sunday, April 9th. Happy Easter for those who celebrate. This is going up after Easter. No one really cares. Anyway, I finally, after a week, finished ACOTAR, and it was truly one of the worst books I've had the misfortune of reading in a very long time. I hated this book so much, and I'm so mad at my sister for making me read this. There were definitely times where I wanted to DNF, but also I didn't want her to win. And there's like nothing on the line except for pride, but like I didn't want her to have the satisfaction of knowing that I couldn't finish the book that she challenged me to read. So I did read it. I hated it. So to go into like specifics as to why this is truly a terrible book, and I definitely judge people who rated it higher than 2 stars. I'm sorry if you're among them. But like on a base level, the writing is atrocious. Like Sarah Janet Maas needs to be held accountable for her crimes against punctuation. I knew going in that there would be a ton of M-dashes, but I wasn't prepared for how she just abuses them and how it just, like, the way that she uses them just utterly disrupts the flow of any sentences. But there's a white mare waiting, unbound, beside a tree, her coat like fresh snow in the moonlight. She lowered her head as if in respect of all things as the beast lumbered up to her. Like those there's like 2 sets of like there's just so many M-dashes in like that one little paragraph. and they didn't need to be there. So there's that. And then, oh, there's a wolf. Oh, God. So, like, on a purely, like, technical level, this book absolutely needed a copy editor. Like, I don't think she has one at this point, which, like, if anyone needs a copy editor, this woman does. So there's that. And then in terms of the story that it was telling, so this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, essentially, with some of Eros and Psyche jammed in there at the end. And it doesn't work as a Beauty and the Beast retelling. At one point in an earlier clip, I was talking about how I'm also rereading Rose Daughter. I'm picking that up again now that I'm finally done with this. And how that works better, because at the core of the Beauty and the Beast, you have a few things. One is that Belle going with the Beast isn't supposed to be a punishment for a crime that she did. In this case, you know, Feyre kills a Fae, and she's like, oh, I know it's a Fae, but I'm gonna kill him anyway. Damn the consequences. And then, but in Beauty and the Beast, it's her sacrificing herself to save her father. So, like, that element's missing. You also don't really get a sense of, like, the normalcy that's being destroyed by Belle sacrificing her, or Belle or Beauty sacrificing herself. And also, like, it's supposed to be this sacrifice. It's supposed to be this burden, like, something that she's taking on for the love of her family. And that's not what we get here. Tamlin's also, like, not really a beast. Like, the other thing too is that instead of, like, it being a curse and the Beast and his court being monstrous, they just have fucking masks super glued to their faces. Like, really? And then one of the things that really annoyed me, which isn't necessarily this being a failure of Beauty and the Beast retelling, was the fact that she names her male character Tamlin. And so you would think, oh, Tamlin, she's going to evoke the Ballad of Tamlin at the climax. Ma'am, do not. Ma'am, I am ranting. Leia doesn't care. Anyway, you would think that, you know, Feyre, who is very much, everyone is like, Feyre no, and Feyre's like, Feyre yes. You would think that she would, you know, chase down the Fairy Queen's hunt and hold Tamlin through his changes and, like, prove her love. No, we don't get that. So what was the point of naming the male lead Tamlin? Like, that's, like, for me, like, that's just false advertising. And then the title, Hi Princess. The title itself, like, A Court of Thorns and No Roses. Where the fuck are the thorns? Where the fuck are the roses? There were none. Like, so many things in this book just make me so angry. And then, like, I'm gonna stop ranting because this is already going on for like 5 minutes. And then, like, I know that in the next books, like, her and Tamlin break up. She goes with Rhysand, whatever the fuck his name is. Like, again, I knew going in that there would be gross shit involving Rhysand. And I was not prepared for him basically drugging and sexually assaulting her and it being like, oh no, but it was for your protection. It was to make Tamlin mad, but, you know, I didn't actually touch you below your waist. And I'm just, that doesn't make it better. Like, it was just so gross. And, like, how am I supposed to believe he's the romantic lead later on? Like, everything about this just made me angry. Like, ugh. I don't understand the ACOTAR girlies. I do not understand them. And also, like, people are like, oh my god, ACOTAR is spaced out, like, it's so spacey. This is not spacey. This is very sad. So yeah, this was awful. If it wasn't for this being a library book, I would have thrown it in the trash after I finished reading it. I hate it so much, and I'm turning it in tomorrow so I can get it out of my life and I never have to look at it again. So, I mean, technically I rate it on Goodreads 1 out of 5, but I would say this is like a 0.5 or 0 stars. This is awful. Do not recommend. Worst book of the year. Probably worst book of the last decade, if we're gonna be like, I don't think I've read a book since I started BookTube or since I, like, really started trying that has made me just so viscerally angry about how bad it is. Yeah, I truly hated everything about this experience. Thank you for one of the Discord servers that I'm in, for putting up with me ranting in the What I'm Reading channel, because that helped keep me sane. So yeah, do not recommend. 0 out of 5 stars. truly awful. And then I did want to clarify something. So I realized a few days ago, so I've been talking about reading The Last Watch by J.S. Hughes, which was the book that my friend Renee recommended to me. And I was so focused on like reading that, I realized it wasn't actually one of the tabs, like one of my picks. So I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep reading it because I am 40% of the way through, and this book is stressing me the fuck out. It is like a lot of action so far. Like things pick up right away. Like there's no real like giving you a quarter of the book to kind of ease into it. Things start going wrong for our characters pretty quickly. I do like the book so far, but it is very stressful. We're starting to get backstory for them, and I'm not super sold on the male lead. He's like not the type of male character. Like, I think this is where Renee and I differ in the characters that we like. She tends to like characters like Cavallon, the main male character who is like the son of a powerful family, who's kind of the screw up, or who's rebelling against them and is desperate for love. Like that is not my preferred male character type. I do like Adequin Rake though. She's the female lead and she is great. She's basically ruthless Commander Shepard who makes a very different choice. But anyway, I am enjoying it. It's very stressful. But so to go back to what I was saying, what I am going to do is I'm going to put Georgia All Along back in there, and I'm going to save that, and I'll pick it out the next time I do this. So that's what's going on, and I will probably do an update later this week after I either finish or get further along with The Last Watch, or I finish another book in this project. So before I go, look who's here. God, she has such a cute little face. Anyway, I will chat with you later. Everyone, it is Tuesday, April 11th, and I am very tired. I've not been sleeping well this week. I also just got back from driving to Portland and back, which is about 3 hours round trip. So I could go to a signing with Kate Elliott and Fonda Lee. I got one of my Kate Elliott books signed. I got Fonda Lee's new novella. So that was a lot of fun. And on that drive, I finished The Last Watch by J.S. Hughes. So I ended up really liking it. I really liked the character dynamics for the most part. Hi, kitten. We have a naked child here. He lost his collar somewhere and he's being very naughty. Anyway, so I ended up enjoying it. I like the character dynamics for the most part. I liked how it ramped up the action pretty quickly. So I know I mentioned in a previous update that like 10%, like 10 or 15% in, like things are already falling apart, and it goes from there. There are some small like breather moments, but there's not a lot of them. And I thought the world building itself was really interesting. I thought that how the author was approaching the idea of like aliens who are around and kind of what their relationship is to humanity and also the universe, and also is exploring some interesting things around corporations and eugenics. So I thought that was very interesting. Character-wise, I think this was a little bit of the weaker element, and it's a few things. One, Cavallon, who's the male lead, he's just not a character type that I particularly enjoy. So I liked him more at the end than I did at the beginning, but he still was not my favorite. And then Adequin Rake, who's the female lead, I enjoyed her, but there were some times where she was very frustrating because she had this faith in the military higher ups, that they would finally get their act together and support her, even though there had never really been any evidence that they would do so. And she gets called out on it, and we do find out a little bit why that's the case, but it was very frustrating at times because it was like, just no, oh honey, please, like, come on, please just accept reality. So the characters, I think, The main characters, I think, were a little bit of the weaker element. I did love the side characters. There's this one, Emery, who is a delight. She's just kind of this 19-year-old punk-ass kid who I deeply enjoy. So yeah, this was a much better suggestion than ACOTAR, so thank you, Renee. I know book 2 is out right now. That's The Exiled Fleet, and there's a third book, I believe, coming out at some point. So I will pick that up later. But I gave this, I would say this is like a 3.75 out of 4, or 3.75 to a 4-star. I would definitely recommend if you're looking for like new space opera type thing. So in terms of what's next, I have Snowspelled by Stephanie Burgess. I will do that in ebook. And then I also have Starless Sea as an audiobook from the library. So that will probably be my Disney Dreamlight Valley / driving audiobook for the nearest future. And I will probably do an update once I start / finish one of those two. And look at this little criminal. This little unrepentant criminal. Anyway, have a good night. Hey everyone, I realized I forgot to update because I did finish a book last week. So it is Sunday, April 16th, and last week on Wednesday, I took a sick day because I wasn't feeling well, and I ended up reading Snowspelled by Stephanie Burgess. This was the book that my friend Forest of Glory recommended for me, and I enjoyed it. So it is a novel, very short novel / novella, following Cassandra Harwood, and she lives in this place called England. It is very much inspired by Regency England, and in this society, the men do the magic because they're considered to be more volatile and therefore more suited to magic. And I apologize if you can hear the cats hissing. They decide now is the time to be terrible gremlins. And the women do all the political power, political machinations, and Cassandra ended up rebelling against that and did magic until 4 months ago she can't do it anymore. And so she goes to a house party where her ex is going to be there, and there's a snowstorm, and an elf lord challenges her to find the cause, or else her life is forfeit, essentially. And so she and her ex are trying to figure out what's going on. So this, I did enjoy. It's pretty short, so we don't get a lot of, like, really in-depth character development. The world building is more kind of broad strokes type of world building. So it doesn't get too in-depth. It's more relying on your familiarity with, like, Regency tropes. But I did like the kind of reversal of, like, who has the political power in this universe. Because that's not something we normally see. I also thought that I really like Cassandra and her relationship with her ex, who she ends up getting back together with. It is kind of a romance. Okay, I'm back. I had to break up a fight. Anyway, so I enjoyed it. I thought that it was just like a fun, pretty quick read. I would give it like a 3.75 out of 5 stars. I would definitely recommend it if you're in the mood for like a fantasy romance that doesn't really require a lot of time. That's a pretty quick read. So I'm glad I finally read it. I know there's other books in the series. There's a direct sequel which follows Cassandra as she's founding her magical school. And then there's also a prequel that's the love story between her brother Jonathan and her sister-in-law Amy. And then there's like a finale that's with one of her students. So I'll probably try and pick those up at some point just because I did like the world building. The writing was fun. Like I said, I would definitely recommend it if you're in the mood for like fantasy romance-esque type things. And I'm also about 2/3 of the way through the Starless Sea. I'm listening to the audiobook, so I should finish it tomorrow. And I am enjoying it. It does feel very long. Like it is, God, it's like 18 hours worth of audio. And so And that's part of it because every chapter alternates between like the main storyline and like stuff that's in the books. And like some of it's interesting, but also some of it I feel is like just kind of bloating the story a bit. So like I said, I'm 2/3 of the way in. I'm hoping to finish it tomorrow. We'll see how I feel about it. But yeah, right now my feeling is that there's stuff that easily could have been cut to make it a little bit of a more streamlined story. It's very much a book about stories, a book about books type of thing. But yeah, this is my first Erin Morgenstern, and based on this, I would be interested in checking out The Night Circus sooner rather than later. So I will hopefully have a final update tomorrow once I'm done, where I kind of sum up my thoughts about The Starless Sea as well as this part of the project, and get ready for part 2, which I'm probably going to be doing in August. Hello! So this is a much delayed wrap-up conclusion to this reading vlog project. So it is April 28th. I did finish The Starless Sea last week, but then I was at a conference and I wasn't feeling well, and so I didn't film my update, but I did finish The Starless Sea. I very much enjoyed it. I thought that what Erin Morgenstern was doing with her commentary about stories and how we find meaning in them and how they take on a life of their own was really interesting. I really enjoyed the characters and the journeys that they were going on. My main complaint though, which I think I articulated in my last update, where kind of the alternate section, so every chapter is Zachary, and then the next chapter is like an excerpt from the book that he finds, or a different book, or flashbacks, or someone else's story. And overall, some of them I thought were interesting, but others weren't. And I also thought it just kind of cut the momentum of the story, because something would happen in a chapter and be really tense, and then we would have this other chapter and it just cut the narrative momentum. So that was a little frustrating for me. I did listen to this on audiobook, and overall I enjoyed the audio narrators. So you had one narrator for all the Zachary chapters and then different narrators for each section. I also liked the ambiguity of the ending and kind of how we get some kind of narrative closure, but it's still open for the characters to have other adventures, and those are kind of endings that I like. So overall, I did like it. I would say like a 4.25 out of 5 stars. So another good book in this project. So overall, how I would rate the books in this project from worst to best. So worst by far was ACOTAR, which was suggested to me by my sister, and this was painful. You've seen the vlog, you've seen just how much I disliked that book. I think it firmly concludes to me that Sarah J. Maas is not an author for me. I didn't enjoy, like, aside from the problems I had with the story and how the choices that she made in the story, I didn't particularly enjoy her writing style or how she did her characters. So I think for me, if this is like one of the books that people swear by, or like one of the series that people swear by when talking about her, she's not an author for me. I am glad to leave her for the folks who like her. I am not a Sarah J. Maas girly. I would rather read books that I like. I don't need to be wasting my time with that. I would say next, and these ones are pretty closely grouped together. Like, if A Court of Thorns and Roses is by far the worst book I read, I would say the other 3 books are grouped pretty closely together. So I would say Snowspelled is probably kind of next on my like least favorite to favorite list. And that's mostly because I thought like it was short and I did kind of want more. I thought that the glimpses of the world building we got were interesting, but again, I wanted more. So I know Stephanie Burgess has other books in this series, so I do plan on checking them out at some point. So thank you so much, Force of Glory / Anna, for recommending this to me. I did enjoy it. This definitely is something that I want to continue. I would say after that is The Starless Sea, and that's mostly because of what I just described, where we have kind of the pausing, stopping of the narrative momentum. It was annoying, and it did, for me at least, feel like it unnecessarily lengthened the book. Like, this was an 18-hour audiobook. It was a long book. So, but I did enjoy it. I did like the writing. I liked the characters and the themes. So thank you, Rachel, for recommending this to me. And then last, I would say the one that I enjoyed the most is The Last Watch. And while I do have kind of my complaints about the characters, particularly the fact that the female lead, whose name I'm now completely... Adequin Rake. Adequin, it sometimes seems like very naive, and it like at some points I just want to be like, oh honey, no. You need to like accept the fact that your military forces don't care about you and left you to die. And that was a little frustrating. And Kavallon is not necessarily my favorite type of character, but I did like him by the end. But in terms of like wanting to keep reading because of how JSD's ratcheted up the tension, the fact that it's not as blatant of a Mass Effect inspired book as Chilling Effect, but I could definitely like see connections, and I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, so like that worked for me. And the fact that like how it ended just makes me so interested in what's gonna happen in book 2. Especially since I know there's a third book, and apparently book 2 ends on a cliffhanger. So I'm just, in terms of like series that I'm just very excited to continue, I would say The Last Watch is by far my favorite. So overall, this was a pretty successful project. I am planning on doing round 2 in August with my next 4 books, so keep an eye out for that. But overall, this was fun. Yeah, aside from ACOTAR, I feel like I do have to like have that as a caveat, but that was something that I knew going in would be a very hard sell for me. So anyway, have you read any of these books? Have you done one of these 12 books recommended by 12 friends? Have you also suffered through ACOTAR and deserve reparations from Sarah J. Maas? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoy what you see, please like and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.